Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new video at Beyond the Cloud. In this video, I will explain you about AWS CDK, Cloud Development Kit. Remember, it says development, not DevOps. But there will be some DevOps inside of it. We will discuss in detail what is CDK, how it is used, and in the new era of infrastructure as code. Yes, you heard it right. It is one of the kit where we can do infrastructure as code with our chosen language. I mean programming language, of course, like TypeScript, Python, Java, and others. It provides high-level object-oriented abstractions on top of AWS CloudFormation and enables developer to provision infrastructure and deploy applications with ease. It is an open source software development framework as well. In this video, this particular video is divided into two sections. On one hand, we will talk about a bit in theory about CDK. Then we will move into the practical, where we will provision a couple of AWS resources like SQS, Lambda, S3. It will be a fun. So we will mainly use Python in this video as a programming language, but you can do it of your own programming language as well. So this is the fun of CDK. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe and comment your thoughts and give me some suggestion. How can I improve this video? Please share this video as well. If you subscribe, you will be notified whenever there is a new video coming into this channel. So we can now go and check out the tutorial.
Welcome to this tutorial of AWS CDK. To understand CDK, we have to understand a bit of DevOps. We all know DevOps, or if you don't know, it is a development and operations together. Previously, we have developers as a separate entity and we have operations as a separate entity. We had a strong line which called do not cross and which no one crossed ever. So developers are responsible for coding, building, planning, testing. They never bothered about operational tasks like deployment, release, monitoring, and support. I remember in earlier days when company having three different teams for developers, release management, and even for testing. This resulted a slow software delivery times and a lack of communication between teams, leading to a frequent issues and outage. In responsible to this challenge or in response to these challenges, the DevOps movement emerged, promoting collaboration and communication between development and operations team. This approach emphasizes the use of automation and tooling to streamline the software delivery process, increasing the efficiency, reduce the potential human error. The present approach to DevOps involves a focus on continuous integration and continuous delivery and continuous deployment. This means that the development teams are expected to integrate code changes frequently, test them, and validate new software and deploy to production system as soon as they are ready. This approach encourages development teams to take the proactive and iterative approach over software development with a focus on rapid feedback and continuous improvement. To make it more visible, let's take a scenario. Ops team always want stability, whereas developer team constantly developing and wants to change the stable environment. Sometimes that works perfectly, sometimes not. Operations team blame developer if something go haywire and developer teams does the same and vice versa. It will only work out if both of the team works together. It will be a better delivery and approach. So AWS CDK is an approach about DevOps. AWS CDK represents a DevOps model that empowers developers to define, manage, and deploy cloud infrastructure in an automated and scalable way. By leveraging familiar programming languages and tools and integrating with other AWS services, the AWS CDK helps to streamline the software delivery process and ensure high software quality. So I hope Till now, we understand what is CDK and why it is required. So, by defining cloud infrastructure as code, developers can leverage familiar programming languages and tools to automate the provisioning, management, and deployment of cloud resources. This helps to reduce the risk of human error, increase the efficiency, and streamline the software delivery process. It provides high level of programming language agnostic API for cloud resources provisioning and management, making it easier for developers to define, deploy, and manage cloud resources in a more automated and scalable way. Before introduction of AWS CDK, provisioning and managing cloud infrastructure was often a manual and time-consuming process. This that involved using AWS Management Console, of writing low level of AWS CloudFormation templates. This approach was prone to human error and lacked the ability to leverage programming languages and tools that developers were already familiar with. The AWS CDK represents a shift in this philosophy by providing a high level programming language agnostic API for cloud resource provisioning and management. This makes it easier for developers to define and manage cloud infrastructure as code. In conclusion, the shift in philosophy brought about the AWS CDK can be seen as a move from manual, sealed infrastructure provisioning to automate, unified, and efficient infrastructure as code. This shift has helped to streamline the software delivery process and ensure high software quality, while reducing the risk of human error and increasing the efficiency. Now let's start the practical where we will provision infrastructure as code using Python. We will build it, we will deploy it, and even we will destroy it from our end, from our local machine. Welcome to this practical. I have created one folder called CDK Introduction. This whole code base I will be providing in the description, the GitHub code. You can check it out. You can deploy the code in your local machine by pulling the code. So let's get started. So within this folder, there are two criteria before starting. One is we have to install Python in our machine. I have installed Python 3.1. So if you have installed Python or not, you can check it with Python. So I have Python 3.10.3. Also, very important one, we have to install AWS CLI. If we have installed AWS CLI or not, we can see it like this. So my AWS CLI version is 2.1. So this is fine. So this AWS CLI and Python is the prerequisite to have it. Also, we need to configure our AWS account. So for configuration, we need to give the AWS configure command. It will ask for access key and secret key. So for my AWS account, the access key and secret key I have written down here, which I will be giving, and I will copy the secret key as well. And that's it. I will keep the default region as it is, US East 1, and then done. So my AWS configuration is done. So my account bootstrapping is done. So now the next important part is we have to install AWS CDK. So the AWS CDK can be installed by this command, npm install -g, npm install -g AWS CDK. This command will install the AWS CDK in your machine. I will not do it because I have already installed AWS CDK. So I will go to the next step. If you have not installed, please install it. So now as we are already inside this particular folder, so we have to initialize a particular project in CDK. So in CDK, there is a default project always CDK gives us. So how to initialize the CDK default project? There is a command called CDK init. This will initialize CDK into this folder. And I need one app. So which app is it? So that means I have to specify one language. And as I said, I will use Python. So this command will initialize CDK into this folder into an app. The language is Python. So this I will give as enter. And as you see, it is creating something. It is doing something in backend. So let's go one by one. So this is creating an app for Python. It is welcome a CDK Python project, and also this is the instruction of creating one virtual environment. This which will I will come later, and this will also this gives me a clear instruction how to install the dependency, and then what to do in CDK synth, and then CDK deploy, and blah blah blah. Right now this is done. So what we will do is we will create a virtual environment. So what is virtual environment? Virtual environment is a place where you can install your dependency for a particular project. So if we have a virtual environment for this project, then we can install the dependencies for this project into virtual environment that I will be creating in this folder. So suppose in a different folder I have a different project and it needs some different set of requirements and different set of dependency. So in that folder or in that project we can create one virtual environment, and that virtual environment will consist all the dependency that the project needs. So first, let's create the virtual environment. This is a very good approach because it will not overlap the dependency. So this will take some time, and it created the virtual environment. And to activate the virtual environment, we need this command. So we see here in the beginning that the virtual environment is created. And right now, whatever dependency we will install, it will be installed in this virtual environment. So let's go back to our IntelliJ and let's see what happened. And we see here that it has already been detected Python, and these things has been created. So let's go one by one. So this is IntelliJ IDEA specific, and this is the virtual environment that we are talking about. It has bin and lib, and in the lib right now, please take a look. It is already it has only Python 3.10 dependency, nothing else. And right now, after installing the dependency, when we will be running the dependency installation command, it will have other folders as well. And it has a stack. This is the main stack that we will be running into, and we will be creating the resources. And this stack is the one where it is actually responsible to deploy the infrastructure in the AWS account. So here we will be creating all the resources, and within that and those resources will be deployed in our AWS account. And most important part is the app.py, where it is actually saying that this is a CDK introduction stack, and this tag we need to give this, and this tag will be created in a CloudFormation stack shard, and the CloudFormation stack shard will be deployed to our AWS account. Right now, nothing else is important. Another important part is the requirements.txt. This requirements.txt is very much important because it has a CDK library and the constructs that we need. So for working with AWS CDK, we need CDK library for Python, and we also need constructs. So constructs is AWS provided resources which we can just import and create the resources by ourselves. So that's it. Currently, we don't have anything inside our CDK introduction project. Now let's go back to terminal and let's see and let's install the requirements here. So to install the requirements, we need this command. This will install the requirements.txt. So this will go here as we are in this folder. It will check this requirements.txt, and whatever inside this requirements.txt, it will install one by one. So we see that when we gave this command, it downloaded the construct, and it also took the AWS CDK library, which is cached because I have already worked with it couple of times. So it is from cache. It took it and it installed it. Now let's go back to our virtual environment and see what changes it has been made to our lib folder. Remember, in our lib folder we only had this Python 3.0. Now you see we have under side packages lots of dependencies installed. So this is the AWS CDK library, and everything it has installed. Even it has installed the constructs and constructs. So this is the work that the requirements.txt or the requirement.txt does. We can even install the Python dependency using Poetry, but as we have already done like this, so Poetry is not required. Maybe if you want to know more about the Poetry, please let me know in the comment section. I will show you how to do it or how to install the dependencies using Poetry. Now the most important part is that our stack is ready. If we currently see our stack from where the resource is being provisioned, right now there is nothing. So if we do CDK synth, it will do nothing but to create one CloudFormation template which will not deploy anything. So the next step for CDK to do something or to do synthesizing is to do CDK synth. This is the command where it will create one template, template file in JSON format, and that will be deployed to AWS account, and that will be created the CloudFormation template, and from that CloudFormation template our resources will be deployed. So right now if we do CDK synth, we see a nice CloudFormation template has been generated, but inside of it there are no resources, only CDK metadata and some conditions are there. So there is nothing inside this CDK synth. And if we go back to our folder, we see one CDK out has been created. That means the output of this CDK file where one template JSON has been created. This JSON will be responsible to deploying our stacks into our AWS account. Okay, now it's time to create some resources in this stacks. So if we look closely, we already see that one SQS queue has been already there. This is the one from line number 15 to line number 19. It has already been commented out, and this is kind of an example resource which we can uncomment, and this will create SQS queue in that particular AWS account. So we can also do that. Let's uncomment this one. Okay, now it is complaining. Why? Because it does not know what SQS is. Now if we see line number 4, we have AWS SQS. As SQS we have to import. So AWS CDK, as I said, already have some built-in library, AWS library. So AWS SQS is one of them, which is responsible for simple queue service, and we are importing this one as SQS, and from SQS we can provision an SQS queue, and also we can also check this duration as well. Now, for purposefully, I'm not giving any queue name to show something later and create some more resources here. So what we have done is we have created one function, and the function name is Lambda CDK. And we have imported this AWS Lambda as Lambda function, and from that Lambda function we have used this function method which is responsible for creating this function. Function name is Lambda CDK. The runtime is Python 3.9, and the code is somewhere we have to create this folder, and the handler is somewhere we have to create this handler. So let's create the Lambda code now. So we have to create one folder called Lambda code demo. Okay, we have created the folder Lambda code demo, and within that folder we have to create one function called demo Lambda. So we have to create another Python file, and this is our Lambda. And right now in our Lambda we don't have a Lambda handler, so we have to create one Lambda handler. Our Lambda code is ready. So right now the Lambda handler is doing nothing. It is printing the event. It is coming, and also it is printing a status code of 200 and hello from CDK if it is invoked. That's fine. So if we go back to our stack, we see our Lambda function is taking the handler from demo Lambda. This is the Lambda that we will be deploying, and within it is taking this Lambda code from here, Lambda underscore code underscore demo, and it has a demo underscore Lambda, and within that demo underscore Lambda we have a Lambda handler. So this is our overall Lambda. Now we can deploy it. So for deployment, we can uh, we have to do we have to again build it. So basically building in CDK works with CDK synth. So we will do CDK synth again. So let's go back to our terminal now and do a CDK synth one more time. Let's clear this out and do a CDK synth. Okay, our template is ready. Now if we go up, we see that couple of resources has been created. One of the resources is the IAM role for our Lambda, the default IAM role, and also this is the actual Lambda, AWS Lambda function. This is the Lambda. It is taking the function. The function name is Lambda underscore CDK. The handler is demo underscore Lambda dot Lambda underscore handler. From where it is taking the code, and the runtime is Python 3.9. So I'm searching about the queue. So this is the queue, AWS SQS queue, where we also have provision. We have provisioned this SQS queue. Now the important part is how to deploy this. So to deploy this one, we have to do one-time bootstrapping. So if we are doing this particular account, the newer type of deployment, or the first time the deployment is happening in this account for this CDK or this project, we have to do the account bootstrapping. So bootstrapping is nothing but to create something before provisioning. That means suppose we are going to a journey, and before going to a journey we need to pack our bags. So think about bootstrapping is something like that. So it need to pack our bag for us before doing the deployment. So we need to do bootstrapping. The command is CDK bootstrap. If we do CDK bootstrap, it will do something in backend. Okay, our bootstrapping is done. Our bootstrap, so environment, this one is bootstrap. Now let's go back to our management console and see what happened. If we go to CloudFormation, we see the CDK toolkit has been created. This is the toolkit that we need for infrastructure provisioning in our next step. And if we go to resource section, we see a couple of things has been created, like the IAM role for resource provisioning, IAM policy for resource provisioning, S3 bucket where the CFN template will reside. S3 bucket policy also needs to be changed. So like that I said, suppose think of it as this one is our journey back, which is very much needed before our journey. Now let's go back to our terminal and let's do CDK deploy. This will take some time and it will show us what the steps that is taking. So if in the CDK deploy, we can see that as we have given the as it is taking, as it is creating the Lambda permission, so it is asking me permission that I need to create this role for this Lambda, whether it is permissible or not. So we have to give y. If we don't want to give this, or if we don't want to if we don't want this pop-up or this approval to came in, we need to give CDK deploy required approval is never. So that also I can show you later. So when our stack deployment is finished, we go back to management console and see that we have an introduction stack that is creation in progress. That is the main important stack. And we can see this stack name is similar to that one that we have given here, CDK introduction stack. And this one we have given here as well for our importing. And if we go to management console, we show in the resources section, in the flat view, we can see that it has created one SQS queue, it has created one Lambda function, and our stack provisioning is complete. If we go to Lambda, we see right now this Lambda is created, and this is the Lambda, and we can test it. We have to create one test event. And as the Lambda is nothing doing nothing but returning this 200, so it will return from this Lambda as 200, so it is perfectly fine. And also we have created one SQS queue. So if we go to SQS, we see that our SQS queue has been created. But please take a look into that. This SQS queue name is a bit different, right? So I have done it purposefully. So this SQS queue name we will give it right now in our next tutorial, where we will be seeing the differences, and also we will create one S3 bucket. Let's go back to our code, and where we are provisioning the stack, we give one queue name right now. So this is our bucket provisioning code. What we have done, we are creating right now one new bucket, and also we have given the queue. And for bucket provisioning, we have imported the AWS S3 as S3, and S3 has a method called bucket, which will provision the bucket in that particular account. Right now, if we go to our terminal back, and there is a command to check for what is provisioned right now in this particular account and what we will be provisioning. So there is this command called CDK diff, where it will show you the differences, what the current provisioning is. Okay, I think I have to do this synth first, then it will show. So I will do here. It will show here resources. So one of the S3 bucket, this will be created, and CDK SQS queue. Remember, we did not give any kind of name for that queue. Right now, it will be replaced with demo CDK queue. Now we have to do CDK synth again, and if we do CDK synth, it will be showing us the bucket that it will be created, AWS S3 bucket, and the SQS queue name. Right now the queue name is demo CDK queue. Very simple. We have to deploy it now, and the one that I was talking about is this one. So if we give this one minus minus required approval never, it will not ask me for any kind of approval. So I am asking, hey CDK, go ahead and deploy whatever I have provisioned. So whatever you need to do, just don't ask me for approval. So the deployment is completed. So if we go back to our console, and in the CloudFormation, we see that the update is in progress, and if we just refresh it, we see that one queue has been created, Lambda function as it is, and one S3 bucket has been created. If we go to S3 bucket, so this is my bucket, and within that bucket, if we go to properties, we see the bucket versioning is enabled, and if we go to permission, we see that block all public access is currently on. So that's it. And also the SQS queue, if we just refresh, the name has been changed to demo CDK queue. That means the previous queue has been deleted and the new queue has been introduced. So this is what CDK is all about, and CDK deployment is all about. This is very simple. By using this CDK, we can provision infrastructure as code very easily. We have kind of flavor of our programming language as well. So we can use Python, we can use Node.js, whatever we want. And this is very interesting for the developer, and also in a DevOps model, this is very interesting to test and deploy the code as well, as infrastructure as code. So as we are done right now, so please do remember to destroy everything that we have created. So for destroying, we have this command called CDK destroy. So if we give enter, it will ask me for an approval. It will check that this has been created, and do you want to really sure you want to destroy this task. So if we go back to management console, and we see that we have this task stack, if it is deployed, so our queue will be removed, our function will be removed, our IAM role for Lambda will be removed, and also the S3 bucket will be removed. So we will give yes and enter. So our stack has been destroyed, and let's go back to our stack and check. So if we refresh this one, there is no stack. So our main stack is gone. If we go to Lambda, the Lambda is gone. If we go to SQS, our SQS queue is gone. And in the bucket section, so the bucket will take some time for deletion, but it will be gone as well. So that is what AWS CDK is, and this is how we can provision infrastructure as code from our local and create a DevOps environment very easily. In the end, I hope this video was informative for you and you like the content. I will make more such video in near future. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. As my channel is very new, kindly support me by subscribing. Please also give your valuable comments on the comment section. Please check the description box for the code. I will be back with another exciting video. Till then, bye bye and take care.